Hi everyone, you're probably wondering why I'm on screen in your regular thorough analysis video. Well, that's because I've been trying to upload a video for Applebuck season for the past day, and Hasbro keeps taking it down, apparently because of their new Content ID match system. So, I decided that because my videos kind of border on not being fair use because I used so many clips from the episode and so much of it in 1080p, then I should try to find some way to make it so my videos are definitely fair use for the future. So I'm now going to have a picture-in-picture over here for the episode and use slightly fewer clips if possible just so that I can stay out of trouble. Hopefully you'll still enjoy the videos and they'll still be good. Griffon the Brush-Off is a fairly unpopular episode. Out of all the non-pony one-off characters in the show, I've probably seen less fan art and love for Gilda than any other character, which is understandable because Gilda's a total bitch. Griffons as a general race are more popular as an idea than Gilda is as a character, but even then, not so much that they feel like a big part of the pony world. Besides the fact that Gilda's a bitch, it's also an early episode, meaning that it comes with the usual problems of early episodes, like the characters aren't fully realized, the show is not at the peak of its quality, etc. That said, I'd only seen this episode once before today, and upon rewatching it, I thought it was solid. I see the episode accused of being weak on a thematic level, since the lesson is basically, don't be a bitch or let people be a bitch to your friends. But of course, I think there's much more to it than that, and I've found that the statements that the episode makes about the characters are interesting enough. First, let's ask ourselves, why is Gilda such a bitch? Obviously because she's a mean-spirited bully, but why does she act that way? It's because she's horribly inauthentic. That's why Pinkie Pie is her perfect enemy. Pinkie is completely authentic to the core. Everything about Gilda screams douchey teenage tryhard, from her hairstyle to her voice performance. A similar, more realized human character would be Robbie from Gravity Falls. They are the stereotypical asshole teen who thinks that they're too cool for everyone else, and in both shows, they're put in a position wherein the interesting, authentic characters make them look like idiots. Gilda has a fairly dramatic presence in MLP though, because it's a cute and fun show, and she's a pushy, violent, dramatic character, with nothing that makes her enjoyable, like Discord, Queen Chrysalis, or Trixie Hat. Her presence in the show has weight, whereas Robbie in Gravity Falls is kinda just there for us to laugh at douchey teens. In Gilda's case, the show is making an honest effort to dissect her and show how inauthentic she is. Gilda works as a character because she's genuinely friends with Rainbow Dash. She doesn't hate ponies. She doesn't hate pranks. At the start of the episode, Dash even gets her to do something embarrassing, the Junior Speedsters chant, which she says she'd do only for you, Dash. This betrays the fact that somewhere inside of her, she likes ponies and other embarrassing things. She just won't admit it. You could have a field day applying this to bronies versus haters, and I would find it completely boring because it actually applies to absolutely everyone. Gilda is, every time someone says, I don't play video games, I'm an adult, or, and this is a direct quote from one of my coworkers, a real man doesn't use a weak-ass PS3 controller, they use a 360 controller. It's a tough guy fabrication to make them look better and anyone who isn't them look worse. It's everything that I dislike about everyone I dislike anything about. The Gilda versus Pinkie Pie conflict is made interesting by the presence of Rainbow Dash, who is the antithesis of Gilda, at least in the context of this episode. For all that Dash is full of herself and at times incorrect, she isn't much of a liar. Throughout this episode, Rainbow Dash acts completely out of authenticity and shows us how, despite having the same interests as Gilda, she manages to be a much more mature and decent person. At the start of the episode, Rainbow Dash is actively avoiding Pinkie Pie, but she isn't being bitchy or inauthentic about it. She straight up tells Pinkie that she doesn't want to talk to her, that she's busy, and she outright runs away from her. Pinkie is the one who is forceful and can't take the hint in her usual Pinkie way. But what happens when Pinkie reveals her prankster nature? Rainbow Dash instantly admits that Pinkie is a good prankster and becomes interested in hanging out with her. She even says, "You're not as annoying as I thought." When faced with evidence that Pinkie was cooler than she thought, Rainbow Dash embraced her as a friend. Gilda is not open in this way. She wants nothing to do with Pinkie and only grows to hate her more and more, turning the connections that they have against her. When Rainbow Dash is pranked by Pinkie, Rainbow finds it hilarious. When Gilda is pranked by Pinkie, she views it as an attack. I love the way that throughout the episode, Rainbow Dash is pretty stoked about the idea of having Pinkie and Gilda both around, like a supergroup of her best friends. Rainbow expects Pinkie and Gilda to gel just as well as Rainbow and Pinkie did, because she doesn't realize how pathetic and inauthentic Gilda is. It's part of growing up, really. if Gilda never returns, having learned to be a better person, then it's actually kind of a dark way for the show to have her be a bitch to the end. Cause seriously, did you notice that no one learned anything in this episode? The closest thing to a lesson is Twilight realizing that she should have trusted Pinky's judgment, which is such a small part of the episode that it's barely ancillary to the main point. Pinky and Rainbow Dash learned that Gilda is a petty asshole, and Gilda learned nothing. The best it does is to teach kids that if you're inauthentic, you come off as a complete tool, which you do. I enjoyed this episode more than I expected to just because it showed so much integrity on the part of Rainbow Dash, and showed how despite her usually fun and uncaring personality, Pinkie Pie gets serious when one of her friends is involved. I would say that it shows she knows how to have fun without hurting the fun of others, but I don't know how true that is. So far, Pinkie always gets her way in the end, so I guess she knows what she's doing on like the level of a grand scheme. Anyway, that's all for this episode. I hope you enjoyed this new video format. I may or may not keep it, because I might just find myself completely disgusted with it and have no desire to do it anymore. But I'm going to keep experimenting until I find a way to not get my videos taken off of YouTube.